Today, we are going to talk about ecological modernization. The theory of ecological modernization emerged around the same period that advocates of sustainable development were formulating their own position in the 1980s. The idea came directly from the work of a small group of German, Dutch, and British academics, including Martin Janek and Joseph Huber. Before we learn what is ecological modernization, we need to know more about the idea of modernization. The meaning of modernization is always associated with something positive, like progress. Industrialization and urbanization are the two main processes which would take place within modernization. By industrialization, we can understand it as the process by which human labor is systematically replaced with that of machines. Machines mediate between human beings and nature, thereby taking place of human labor and freeing people to create more interesting lives. As our production became more industrialized, population density in urban area also became much higher. This is what we called urbanization. Most modern societies are also characterized by free market and capitalism. Finally, in modern society, we constantly advance our technology so as to improve our quality of life. The above features of modernization are considered to have made progress to humanity. However, the same features are actually doing bad to our environment. As we learned from human history, higher industrialization, higher urbanization, capitalism, and technology are also the causes of pollution and resource depletion. So, what can we do with modernization? Should we keep modernize in the existing way, but polluting our environment? Or should we discard the project of modernization at all? The theory of ecological modernization offers us another angle to think about modernization. To Martin Janek, who presented the idea of ecological modernization for the first time at the Berlin Municipal Parliament in 1982, modernization processes need a strong ecological twist so that we can keep modernize without more environmental problems. Another theorist, Joseph Huber, also echoed this call, and he used an analogy to suggest that the dirty and ugly industrial caterpillar could actually be transformed into an ecological butterfly. To summarize the above ideas, ecological modernization theorists actually seek to preserve a commitment to the modernization project by turning it in an ecological direction so that instead of modernization being the cause of ecological crisis, it may turn out to be the solution. Ecological modernization theorists recognize that business as usual is not possible given the current set of environmental problems we face. To bring about environmentally benign outcomes, ecological modernization theorists suggest that we should focus on technological innovation and the use of market mechanisms, especially in transforming production methods and reducing pollution at source. And ultimately, ecological modernization theorists claim that some key social institutions should also be transformed in order to cope with the ecological concerns and the limits of resources. Let's focus on technological innovation. Ecological modernization theorists see huge potential in technology to reduce the usage of natural resources without affecting economic growth. For example, we now can drive electric cars, which are comparatively more environmentally friendly than conventional gas cars. Another example is from the Apple company. As the picture below shows you, Apple commits to carbon neutrality for supply chain and products by 2030. This means that when Apple produces its product like iPhone and MacBook in the future, Apple promises that they would improve the production process and would emit zero carbon dioxide. Up to now, we have learned from the ecological modernization theory that the modernization project is still ecologically sound. By technological advancement, market innovation, and state regulation, we shall be able to overcome environmental problems and resource limitations in the future. In short, ecological modernization is optimistic that incremental reform would be effective in the long run. However, I would like to invite you to rethink about whether this optimistic view can stand. This comes to another important concept, the Jevons paradox. Jevons was actually an English economist. He wrote a book, The Coal Question, in 1865. In the chapter titled Of the Economy of Fuel, Jevons highlights the paradox of how the rising efficiency of coal used in production was associated with rising coal consumption. The contemporary interpretation of Jevons paradox can actually be summarized as follows. Anytime the cost of consuming a resource is reduced, people will respond by consuming more of it. The implication of Jevons paradox is that in our rush to save the environment and natural resources through efficiency gains, we may be unintentionally using up more resources.